In the vast, echoing halls of medieval castles, power was not only displayed through gold, armies, or towering walls. Hidden beneath the polished marble floors and behind velvet drapes, another form of control thrived, quiet, deliberate, and carefully concealed. Among the nobility, especially within the inner courts of powerful kingdoms, there were places few dared to speak of. Secret rooms, shielded from the eyes of commoners, where certain noblewomen were summoned under the pretense of private counsel or moral instruction. These chambers were never recorded in official blueprints. No chronicler wrote of them in the bright ink of celebration. Yet their existence was known to every royal attendant, every servant who caught a glimpse of a cloaked figure disappearing behind a hidden door. The entrances themselves were cleverly concealed. Some lay behind ornate mirrors that pivoted on silent hinges. Others were masked by towering bookshelves, where a single, carefully chosen volume acted as a hidden latch. Once inside, the world changed. The air was colder, carrying the scent of wax, aged stone, and something indefinable, the heaviness of long-forgotten events. The lighting was always dim. Torches or candelabras offered just enough glow to outline the contours of the room, while shadows gathered in the corners, cloaking unseen watchers. Along the walls, tables displayed strange and intricate objects. At first glance, they might appear as curiosities or works of art, delicate metalwork, polished wood, or gilded frames. But closer inspection revealed mechanisms, hinges, clasps, and screws that betrayed a hidden purpose. Some were shaped like crowns, yet they were never meant to rest comfortably on a head. Others resembled fine furniture, chairs or benches carved with flowers and patterns, but their structure hinted at constraints far beyond the needs of ordinary seating. In the center of the chamber often stood a single seat, elevated on a small dais. Here, the summoned noblewoman would be placed, her fate resting entirely in the hands of the cloaked figures who encircled the room. These observers rarely spoke. Their silence was more chilling than any words. The official reasoning, whispered among the courtiers, was always the same: restoring order, preserving dignity, or correcting conduct. In truth, these rituals were about control, ensuring that the royal image remained untarnished and that those within the court obeyed without question. The ceremonies were long, sometimes stretching into the night. Candles would burn down to their final drops, replaced again and again by unseen attendants. Every detail of the process was deliberate, almost theatrical, designed to impress upon the mind of the subject the unshakable power of the crown. The noblewomen who emerged from these chambers were often changed. Some became quieter, more obedient, their eyes avoiding those of the court's most powerful figures. Others withdrew entirely, rarely seen again at public gatherings. Stories of these chambers passed in hushed tones, drifting through the corridors like ghostly whispers. Servants claimed to hear faint sounds from behind the concealed doors, not shouts, but the low, steady hum of ceremonial chanting, the scrape of metal on wood, the click of unseen mechanisms. These tales spread far beyond the castle walls. Merchants, travelers, and visiting dignitaries repeated them, each adding their own layer of detail. Some claimed the chambers were ancient, predating the castle itself. Others insisted they were the invention of a particularly ruthless monarch, whose reign was marked by both unprecedented wealth and unrelenting fear. Centuries later, when many of these castles fell into ruin, a few of these hidden rooms were rediscovered. Historians found fragments of strange devices, their function unclear, but their craftsmanship undeniable. Heavy wooden frames inlaid with brass, small locks that no longer had keys, delicate chains and clasps, and metalwork so intricate it seemed almost out of place in such a setting. Records and old archives offered only the faintest clues, scribbled notes in the margins of ledgers, describing private proceedings or matters of internal discipline. Modern scholars continue to debate their true purpose. Were they tools of justice, symbols of authority, or instruments of something far darker? The lack of definitive answers only deepens the mystery. Today, tourists wander through the public halls of these castles, marveling at the chandeliers, the banquet tables, the portraits of kings and queens. Few realize that behind certain walls, unseen by modern eyes, There were once rooms where no music played, no feasts were held, and no joy was allowed to enter. In the end, the history of these chambers is not just about the devices or the rituals themselves. It is a reminder of how power operates, often quietly, hidden in the shadows, away from the stories that are meant to be told. And perhaps that is why these rooms, though largely forgotten, still linger in the imagination. Because even without full knowledge of what happened there, we can sense the truth, that beneath the shining crowns and flowing gowns, there was always a darker side to royal life, one that preferred to remain unseen.